incident of such crash concern, because when we see the operational history, it is in the service for years. One of the that post can rely used during Sindoor, how recent squad, total 2 squadrons, one squadron South India to western part of the country. This is unfortunate. We can see, in fact, these are where we can see the Tejas crashed, performance at the is in the static display. One is there for, one is possibly for reserved aircraft. Total three. On a daily basis, they are performing. 8 minutes was the allocated time. And, to somewhere people were, appreciating a sort of a maneuver, the barrel viewer. But right away, this unfortunate incident coming from air show, in some time from now, we'll get some sort of clarity, more.
In fact, I want to inform our viewers that Akash is very much in as we speak. Let me quickly go across to Rahul, live from home. Rahul, show that we are looking at deeply tragic and equally disturbing. There's no information about the pilot yet.
Of course, that remains something of huge concern. Look, happened in previous air shows also, and we don't a few caveats here. Obviously, at an specifically, you've just come off on the back of all eyes on the Indian Air Force, and last 4 days. Remember, this is the 5th time consecutive flying and doing sorties at this air show. So it's not all gloom and doom. Of course, we need to find out to get you those updates. The IF has confirmed that, of course, this crash has happened, but they're going to fundamentally, I just want to say a couple of things. We are just about inked a 1 billion 113 Tejas engines that were going to be supplied. So the engines, one component that India has, the manufacturing. We've been looking for partnerships, and we just clearly there have also been questions over the airworthiness to some extent. A large number of people have come out with 5-star ratings, specifically in the LC light combat aircraft on the ground, so that we get a visual image of him at that particular air show. But the pictures that you're seeing on your screens, viewers, and they come from 3 perspectives. One, of course, you see from where the audience watch the goings on at close to the tarmac, and then a long shot of this expanse, and you can see this huge plume of smoke and number of people looking in that direction. Left a very short cropped closing in of that big fire. So you're getting very long. Was it an maneuver that didn't go right? Was it a technical fault? Fundamentally, let's look at the incidents that have taken in the past in the ground. So absolutely new or unprecedented. I can't.
With Captain Rahul, very relevant point, and when we talk about of the thing, its combat accountability, the survivability for the world over.
Absolutely, Kansha, and Rahul on these points. In last crash, I happened to be there close by. So both these crashes is very close to my where I am. The issue was very, very simple. Established here as a professional fighter pilot, flown thousands of sorties on such aeroplane, and having done aerobatic, I mean, all is a case of mush um, that you always play with in low aerobatics.
Okay.
Just in August, like I was saying, one professional pilot, Colonel in Poland, in a very similar fashion, and this is a bit to the ground. You're trying to do a barrel roll, meters an hour. The margin for error is way.
I want to bring you in on the survivability fact. You're looking at a fighter jet. What are the features over here? There's an ESA radar, electronic warfare suit with radar warning and self-protection jack. Are we malfunction when it comes to the warning system?
All these guys during war, all
Okay.
the way aeroplane had been put into the aeroplane, and previous check have when we are carrying out speed. These are a few parameters.
On level aerobatics, what are the potential?
Low technology that the aeroplane has unconnected with each other. In low-level aerobatics, it is the pilot, it is the man and the machine, the combination of the man and the machine in terms of the aeroplane's ability to vis-a-vis the control inputs given by the pilot and the thrust that the. And in this case, Tejas is extremely capable aeroplane with wonderful wing. You lift as much as or better than any other. The margin for error in the afternoon. So it is a hot condition. In the hot condition, the aeroplane behaves in a morning may not be the behave in the afternoon because the air has now become thin. You cannot see it. So your margin wafer thin reduces even further. So that is where I think taken turn for the worst.
Stay with me, Captain Vinod.
This
Let me
case.
quickly bring continues to stay. Was sharing to highlight caveats. What's important to mind right now that they could be influencing.
We'll have to wait for the official line. Point get particular crash. Look, operational. It's had a very. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be. The second crash involving a Tejas aircraft in less than. This is maiden flight in 2001. So it Tejas has been flying into aircraft. Well, it actually is one of the best in its category. An LCA, which is a light combat aircraft. What the group should underline to get into the region. I think our primary concern right now should be about where we managed to after we don't know eject safely from that quite know. One hopes news on that front, but I just want to go across to the small. Oh, I think we've lost him. We're going to try and more as we go through. But the one thing that we have to bear that the thing sheet last 20 odd years, it was did its crash that led to this aerobatics that are. Could there have been didn't respond per expectations emerge in just a few hours? I think the IF will give us an update from people on the ground. Yes.
Right. With me, Rahul. Set of visuals that we are bringing to you before views the crashes over there, as you can see, and soon after it's turned into a ball of fire, columns of, in fact, billowing out over here. This is the Al Maktoum International Airport in Dubai that you're looking at. There you see the Tejas fighter jet. And what we are also being told is that it happened roughly at around 2:10 p.m. local time. Is the other, in fact, remember we have visuals that we highlighted that this is where the air show is being parked over here at Maktoum International Airport, and that's the moment where you can see it nosedives over there. I want to quickly take this forward with Rahul, who continues. Your thoughts as we see these visuals?
Just from a former fighter pilot, and he said a key feature of the seat. Now, this is very interesting. He said it designed sort of level maneuvers. We still have hope. To an explosive charge to blow off the. We have been able to access from the Dubai is more of hoping that the pilot to eject. Air show witnessed the far getting.
A very important feature, just fighter jet. But let's also quickly go across to Akash. He is reporting live from Dubai. Remember where the air. Akash, what are you picking up quickly from your sources apart from this crash has taken place?
Seeing that this aircraft is performing, and seeing these visuals out, that it is right. In fact, those who are on the ground suggesting that no ejection took place, but we will wait some. But this is unfortunate. This is the incident involving Tejas, one aircraft of the Indian Air Force. Remember, around 40 aircraft, around 8 were somewhere dedicated. And from last 3 days, how people selfies. Uh, uh, of course, we'll get to know in the investigation. This incident is 2024. We have seen a similar incident for which the court of inquiry, was ordered. In this particular scenario, the priority is to get some sort of news of the survival of the pilot. We have seen, the entire Tejas, which is there in Dubai, posing. Also, the vice chief of,
okay. Vinod also, broadcast captain Vinod, I want to quickly can ensure the pilot safety, especially when if you're not looking at demonstrations that were happening in terms of the pilot hope.
Um, maneuver. Your of cockpit is fairly limited. A ejected, B like I said, though has something called the zero seat. That means in a zero forward velocity possible. Uh, in this case, if you notice, going down at very high speed is you positive, much positive for the parachute to deploy. So the Martin is
Steering clear of any kind of speculation right now, Vinod, it's very important. The last crash was 24, which was 23 years that it crashed, and for 23 years it had a squeaky clean record.
absolutely, in fact, like any crash, the low-level pilot is at very limited. Why do we do low-level aerobatics? So that we show it to the public. This is how the aeroplane operates, fights against enemy in military, not in low level, but at so people get to see sort of capability first. And secondly, it's many to join the Indian Air Force and be elite group. Low level, like you said, Tejas has had a wonderful and by our actors. In spite of this, I'm very sure many people would be, having Tejas in their fighter group, basically because of its record. And any professional has no indication towards the capability of the pilot, aircraft. Who's worn uniform or sat in this trying to see the possibility A, B, C, D. In one of the A, B, C, D, our finger on box we call the FDR, flight data recorder, and milk out the data and find out what has gone wrong. A month, 2 months, 3 months down the road. By that time, you and I may not be interested in the side story. Over to you, Akanksha.
Right. In fact, I just quickly play out a report that's just come in. We are some breaking input. Right. But let's just report that. Before we take you through these set of videos that we've been able to get right behind me, as you can see, is in fact a perpendicular. So the entire Tejas over there. Pilot head on to a ball of smoke, in fact a fireball rather, plumes of smoke in fact billowing out. The second set of screen show the fighter jet crashing the brake in finally confirmed the death of the pilot who was on fortunate news coming in from the Indian Air Force over there, which has now confirmed the death of this pilot at the Dubai. We were waiting for confirmation to come in, quickly go news to stay with us on that piece of second confirmation coming in from the Indian Air Force. First, another the pilot.
Air Force confirming that pilot, and it is very much evident. It is directly hitting, in fact, the ground. And pilot, learning that we have in this particular crash. One crash in Dubai Air, Tejas aircraft very much taking part and coming from last, an investigation inquiry in fact, launched to the reason behind the particular crash of that Indian Air Force has crashed.
I want to quickly take that forward with, well, before we Captain Vinod, one reasons why the pilot was single.
To add to that, it is maneuver. Flying the roll maneuver. If you notice the point the aeroplane impacted the ground, the nose is well the horizon, in the sky ground. So it's when we work go down, we
The pilot was.
yeah, it was a malfunction on had adequate. Like I said, the at that time he was able to get out easily. But if you notice, it was looping maneuver. We call it the barrel. And the bottom of the barrel roll is the time. By the time you see the ground and you recover, he almost. I mean, I can see it very clearly. He almost recovered. Couple of meters more, he would have been out. Like I said, the devil in this entire episode is the thing appears any other reason that we are seeing. Where thinner the hotter the hair, thinner will give you over. But the morning condition in in a desert like UAE,
Okay.
where temperature variation in the evening is very, very high.
All right, stay with me, Captain. We to play out over there, which has just now crash that's happened. Let's listen in.
This is very shocking news. Middle of air show in Dubai. Tejas, Tejas in the end. Oh my God. But Tejas Dubai air kasi shock. But
Shocked spectators now putting social media what they've just now witnessed. It's not every day that air shows on that, Vinod, as you said, demonstrations that at risk. All right, we'll get an Akash on that note, but four set of visuals for you. And we can tell you that you can expect social media to now be buzzing with a whole set of videos pouring in ever since the crash actually took place. To be precise, 2:10 p.m. when the crash actually happened at Dubai's Al Maktoum International. The first one so far that CNN News is bringing to you. The expert views that are coming in, it is the angle with which you see it's crashed on to the airport. In fact, play that out again when it crashes. That perhaps is the angle which gave no ejection time to the pilot. In deeply tragic confirmation in from the Indian Air Force and today during that air combat. That its own set of challenges. It's different from wartime. Look at aerial combat or say aerial demonstrations over here. Typical ones that take place at these air shows. There is much to be looked at. The climate, the temperatures today, the air also could have played a very significant role. The second rows that we are bringing to you, you can see that point is the point which has in fact captured over there. In fact, the plume of smoke is what you can see soon as taking place. National air show that was happening in Dubai. Over aircraft were participating in it. Is back to us, Akash. What more can you share with us? What information coming in so to this crash that led to perhaps enough time to eject?
Very sure, but it seems like the plane lost its thrust or something because it is directly the ground. You can see it was a of this formation maneuvering, and a number of formations are there which are by Tejas aircraft. We have seen in the last 4 days and reporting from Dubai and have just returned yesterday. And till yesterday, I have myself seen that how it was a performance by aircraft where in fact the crowd was very excited to see this particular aircraft that was a very much part of Operation Sindoor, very much performing in the Dubai air show. These visuals were that I think possibly went wrong. The aircraft in fact hit the ground and pilot could not get time to in fact eject, and that is the reason in fact confirmation that we have lost the pilot particular crash where the the individuals who are present from the aircraft and the long shot from the air show somewhere suggests no ejection took place, and that's why but Akanksha, once again while it is we have lost one pilot, we have lost one aircraft in this is the Indian Air Force's Tejas. As to what went wrong, but there are several sort of social media comments where people are drawing it will be very immature sort of conclusion without the court of inquiry, and that's why being a responsible wait for some sort of confirmation from the Indian Air Force as to what went wrong. But right now are somewhere that possibly it was a loss of thrust or something, possibly that happened, because of which this incident has happened. Unfortunate incident where Tejas aircraft of Indian Air Force, Tejas Mark 1, in fact, was very much in the show and, has crashed today.
All right, we are waiting on more information to perhaps come in with regards to what led to the crash. A, B, why couldn't the pilot even get ample time to eject given previous crash that happened? Mind you, happened after 23 years of Tejas B. It was in 2024 as well. The pilot had ample time to eject. As Captain Vinod had been highlighting that it's a very capable feature that the Tejas has as far as ejection for the pilot is concerned. Around perhaps with the direction in which it was crashing, it was head on, nose diving over there, as you can see in the visuals that we are playing out for you over. But let's quickly go across to, in fact, let's quickly go back to our news to state Akash, that it was the 5th day that the Tejas was flying. How much time is each aircraft allotted to perform? What is in fact the procedure?
Right, so on a daily basis, we get here in Dubai Air Show where, they in fact dedicate time for the performance. Hurricane is getting 30 minutes on a daily basis. These are the 9 aircraft, the aerobatic team of the Indian Air Force, that is performing for 30 minutes. On the other hand, aircraft for 8 minutes on a day. In fact, if I remember it correctly, only it was only yesterday that it coming on a day. And, total 3 aircraft are there, very much the static. We have the aerial display, and on a daily basis, this aircraft was performing. As far as this aircraft is concerned, the operational history pointed out Akanksha for, it is there, operational, and this is the second incident. Tejas Mark 1, we have total 2 squadrons in the Indian Air Force here. UAE administration sent, and 3 years it has been, and it's the very first time that performing, these, in fact, during the Air Force Day also, celebration, it is using the USGE engines where also we are, expecting. We'll wait for the investigation, what went wrong, but we have lost 1 aircraft as well.
All right, stay with me, Akash. I'm also joined in by another guest. Air Marshal Amit Tiwari is also on the broadcast with us. Deeply tragic day for the entire nation since we've lost an Indian Air Force fighter pilot. Air Marshal, what is your assessment? Because given that first one happened after 20 production as far as Tejas is concerned, that too pilot was able to safely eject. This was, of course, what's your assessment of what the pilot perhaps could not eject?
Good evening, ma'am. It's a really a and I've been associated manner best control. Let the side of the flying aircraft is quite a and and only a coda inquiry can tell correctly.
But I'm getting more in on what led to the crash as well. But what can you tell us about the Tejas that known for its combat capability? Has it got laurels?
Yeah, time in developing this air. They have 2 going to come, and there's going to be the backbone in Air Force. It's a very aircraft. It ejection seat, etc. And it has got the big advantage with that it is Indian condition and environment. It is tailored for requirement, and all the weapons which will be fitted on this are tailored for requirement. So it's not bought from somewhere, do some modification, etc. Aircraft, and it is a aircraft. But then this was an air show. One doesn't know what all has gone wrong, and with low level, and then lots where 16 have fortunate thing, but very happened.
Absolutely, and if we talk about the combat capabilities of the valor during with Vario, when it comes to our aerial capability.
Ma'am, this aircraft is in. You can use it for the air defense purpose. Also, you can use it for ground attack purpose. So, all the Indian Indian uh, blue system, which will be again of it will be a backbone of Indian Air Force, because here we don't take aircraft from outside and you have to take permission from the manufacturer. We are the manufacturer. Whatever amendment, whatever modification we want in this aircraft, there is nothing hidden. At times when you buy the aircraft from outside, source code and all to you, here everything is homegrown. So it is going to end. Other versions which are going to join Air Force in future are going to be even better.
And this new squadron has been christened by the